All right, so now that we have an understanding of what motivation is and where they come from, we're going to talk about why do you have or why do you lack motivation? So if you have motivation, it's because you have a motive, and we already spoke about what that is and what that means and the different types of them in the last module. Now, we will be getting into why don't you have motivation? Why do you lack motivation? If you don't have motivation to do something, in my experience, you need to work on one or more of these three things, right? So 3 things you need to pay attention to is, first, your mindset, right? The second is your values. And then the last is your attention. So first and foremost, your mindset. Your mindset is the attitude that you have towards something, right? The attitudes that you have towards life or even your fat loss goals, right? So if you don't have the right attitude, you are not going to have the motivation and you will not be successful. Mindset is everything. You hear it in the motivational videos, you hear it by, the gurus and whatnot. However, there's a lot of truth to it, right? And there are 2 forms of attitudes that you can have. The first form or the first type of attitude is the loser attitude, right? Also known as the fixed mindset. So people with this type of mindset, they say, I'll never be good enough. I'm not talented. I'm just born this way. All of these are lies, because the truth is there are people just like you who have achieved the fat loss success. There are people who have been in your shoes, who have done what you are trying to achieve and what you're telling yourself that you can't. Right? So you need to reframe that. And the thing is, success leaves clues, right? So if them, why not me? That's what you got to tell yourself, right? And the stories that people tell themselves, man, it's like, I don't have good genetics. The good genes skip my generation. It runs in my family. All of these things. Does it sound familiar? If any of this sounds familiar, then it's okay, right? Because first thing that you need to do is become aware of the stories and the lies that you tell yourself, right? So these are the things that are preventing you from even trying. So when you tell yourself this, it's literally a cope. It's like a cop-out. Oh, I conclude that I will never be capable of doing that thing, so I won't even try. That is basically what you are doing. You're crippling yourself mentally. And trust me, it's not the way to go about life. And that is the victim mentality. All right. So instead of that, what you need to adopt is the success attitude, right? Also known as the growth mindset. This is the type of mindset that all successful people have, not just in fat loss, in life in general. You need to adopt this type of ideology. You need to say these type of things to yourself. So you're like, I'm not good enough right now, but I can become good enough. You got to believe it, right? I don't have that skill yet. I don't know how to keep track of my nutrition. I don't know how to exercise properly, but I could learn that skill. I can build up to it. I've never done any of those exercises before, but I can learn how to do it. All of these statements, all of them are true. And here's why. Anything is possible with a decision to commit, consistent action that is aligned with that commitment, and time. That is all it takes for you to be successful in fat loss or any other goal in life, to be honest. A decision, a commitment, action, and time. Boom. Guaranteed results, right? Now, the second thing, going back to the 3 things that you need to pay attention to if you lack motivation. The second thing is your values, right? So if you lack motivation, ask yourself, why is this important to me? What purpose does this serve in my life? This goal, this thing that I'm setting out for, what purpose does it serve in my life? Why do I want to drop fat? Is it to get off medications? Is it to finally have energy to do my work and stop feeling lazy? To finally have mental clarity, to be able to have the confidence to take my shirt off and feel good about it. So I'm no longer limited by my health to level up in my career, in my relationships, in my personal life, to feel deserving of a higher quality partner or a higher quality circle of people. You need to ask those questions, because if you don't know why it is important to you, eventually you'll just give up, right? That is why we need to be clear on our values, right? And to value something means that you need to understand its importance, its worth, or its usefulness in your life, and you need to act in accordance with it. So if at any point you feel like you lack motivation, question yourself, is the goal or is the action that you're trying to take in alignment with your values in life, right? And then the last thing that you need to pay attention to if you are lacking motivation is attention, right? Attention is important because we unconsciously adopt the beliefs and behaviors of people we pay attention to. So all the scrolling on TikTok, all the IG stuff, right? All of that is subconsciously doing something to you that's actually giving you some form of motivation. So like, for example, you probably followed me on Twitter or Instagram or some other form of social media. Those are inputs that's kind of putting in your head, oh, I need to exercise. Oh, I need to be more careful with my nutrition. Oh, I need to stop drinking alcohol. That type of thing. That's good use of your attention, if I'm being honest. Let me give you an example. So think back to when you were a kid and you saw your mom and your dad or someone close to you doing something, right? And you just copied it, right? Because that's what you do. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Even as adults, we still do something like that. And if the case is that we surround ourselves or we keep consuming content, we keep giving our attention to things that are unhealthy and are not aligned with our goals and with our values, then we're going to be taken away from that. And then we're eventually going to be in a place where we're stuck with unhealthy behaviors, unhealthy habits, and honestly, just leaving us sad, depressed, pretty much, right? So it just boils down to controlling your inputs with your attention, right? So if you want to achieve fat loss forever, consume content about fat loss. Surround yourself with fat loss and health-minded people. Think how they think. See the world the way they see it, and observe how they think and how they live, because if they are doing something right that you are not doing. Success leaves clues. So if you want to be successful at something, observe what the people who have already done it, how did they do it? What type of beliefs do they have? What mindset do they have? And you try to emulate that, and I guarantee you will see the success. So at any point you feel like you don't have motivation, think to yourself, do I have the right mindset? Do I have the right values? And am I placing my attention on the right things? All right. Hope that is valuable to you. And we're going to talk about goals next.